we talking about?
I got a couple of things, but I don't know. Let's talk about banning people. Since that happened this week, is that okay to talk about?
Sure.
We've talked about worse.
So I'm just saying we talked. It's so weird that we talked about this last week. You know that.
When you put a thing into the universe, it comes back.
Oh, I will cut you. I will fucking cut you.
You know how many times I've heard that recently? Said that to me.
Are you serious? I would cut a person.
I just laugh. I just think you're such a fucking hippie. And I'm kind of a hippie myself, so.
It's everything I've got is pretty much. I've got one topic that's not ragey, but everything else is ragey. So it was really weird this week because last week we talked about how Corpus Christi atheists, we don't, we
I can't even say shit.
I know. Oh, it's so great. So we had to ban 2 people this week.
Now you had amazing restraint. Because I asked for you to give me the ban hammer.
I know. I deleted that comment too.
You did, and I give you credit for that. You thought I was irritated about it. I really wasn't. I understood it. It was a good call from a moderator standpoint. That was a good. It was a good call.
Not to give him the banana hammer.
No, it was a good call to not make that decision like that. Although I would have made that decision at that point, but
most people would have.
You wound up having to do it anyway.
I did, but I mean, I felt better about it when I did it because, like, to be honest with you, I was more mad at some people that I didn't ban. What's really weird is like the people the one person, Owen, like I've wanted him gone for so long. I'm so glad that he finally gave me a legitimate reason to get rid of him. Anyway, I was actually more irritated with some other people, but we have rules, and the rules get broken. But we let it go a long time. It was 2 days of solid bullshit.
Yeah.
Before it's like, okay, you just have to go.
Yeah, it was a day. It was a day of solid bullshit.
A day and a half. But I mean, ultimately what happened was MRA bullshit came up, and anti-feminist and anti-woman and homophobic stuff came up, and that's just you should not tolerate
most of the conversation.
That's because you don't read things. But
I missed most of it too.
I was working. I was doing shit. Okay, I was not focused on the goddamn interwebs.
By the time I got into it, it was already like 100 comments in. I was like, yeah.
I kept up for like 20 or 30 comments or so, and then I walked away, and an hour later it had blossomed into like 300 okay, it was more than an hour, but still.
Right. Yeah, no, it was a clusterfuck. But there are a lot of people who are kind of irritated with me for letting it go so long. But to me, like, being the sole person who has the ability to ban somebody, I really feel like I have to wait until that line gets crossed because
I agree.
Especially for me, because I am the asshole atheist. I'm the asshole of Corpus Christi, and I get into a lot of heated arguments with a lot of people, a lot of good people, people that I like.
This is why you should just let me have the banana hammer occasionally.
No, because you would just be random. You just like
Christian band. No.
Bing.
No, I mean, I think it was pretty obvious when I was the one going, dude, okay, I agree with some of the things like in core principle that you're saying, but shut the fuck up. You're being a douche nozzle. Stop.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like, if you're the kind of person who goes into a group and comes away saying, oh, look, another group thinks I'm an asshole. It's like, there's a common denominator there, and it's not the group. But I think someone correct me if I'm wrong. It worked the way we talked about last time.
It did.
We didn't just get the F out. It was...
We gave him a chance. You gave him a chance, because I don't think many other people would have given him a chance.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the other people in the group kind of gave him a chance too. I mean, they, obviously, railed on him like, hey, what you're saying is bad. Don't do that. And
I don't know.
So maybe continued on, though.
Maybe I'm an idiot, but like because I woke up, I was so sick this weekend. I was so sick. I'm just now getting over it. I woke up at like 11 o'clock in the morning on Monday, and everyone was like tagging me in posts saying, ban this guy. And like, I'm like trying to read it. I'm like, I don't get, I understand why people are disagreeing with this person. I'm like, why is everyone So I really didn't get it at the time. It took me a long time to catch up. It got bad enough that anyway. But I think it validated what we said last week, which is at the same time, here's the other thing, is that Corpus Christi Atheist does not have a code of conduct. It does not have a non-harassment statement. That is changing right now. Actually, Jordan put something together. I saw she sent it to me, but I haven't looked at it yet. I have been thinking for at least 2 years that I needed to do that, but I kept putting it off because I'm like, there's not a problem. There's not a problem. Well, there was a whole shit ton of problems.
I just figured it was understood.
Right. Well, this is what I was doing is that
you shouldn't be an asshole.
Self-policing, yeah.
Well, and the other thing is that I know we attract a lot of people who have not given thought to the kind of issues that Corpus Christi Atheist stands for. And so what's happened in the past is that either they get it by observing the group norms and they adopt the group norms as their own, or they kind of wander away because they're like, this is not for me. It's never come ever. It's never come to a point like it has this week.
Not like this. We've banned one person before.
But not for this.
Oh, that was the chat room. Never mind.
We booted someone from the chat room. I banned someone from our closed page. You know what? We should. Does anyone know Bonnie? We should add her to Illuminati.
Yeah, no Bonnie.
Okay, add her to the Illuminati, will you? Sure. Because she should have a safe place that's not public like Atheist Airwaves is, and I feel bad that if she didn't understand that when she signed up.
She's okay with it.
Good. That makes me feel better, but not.
No, she's totally okay with it.
Trying to see if there's anything in the chat room. Okay. Can I talk about one more ragey thing before we get to like some weird thing that I want to talk about?
Talk about whatever you want.
Awesome. Anyone else have anything they want to talk about?
I just had some random
Oh, awesome. I'm
really
glad you have something. I'm glad you have something.
Anything.
Okay, good. So the other thing is I want to talk about quitters and children. I really have...
Quitters?
And children. I'm really on my last goddamn nerve with both of those kinds of people this week. So I'm talking about people who don't have the stomach for changing things. People who, and they have every right to be that. But if you fucking complain, if you're the kind of person who's not doing anything, you're not trying to change anything, but you're going to fucking complain about how things aren't changing or how people are sucky, but you're not doing anything about it, seriously suck my balls.
Okay, so you're saying that if you have a problem with something, but you're just going to be complacent, and
you're just going to complain about it while other people are trying to do things, and you're going to complain. And there's just a whole bunch of people who take shit for granted, and there are people who do things and take risks, personal, and there are people in the chat room that have taken personal risks, and there are other people who have not, but who would love to fucking complain.
Well, people like me and you though love to,
Yeah.
Well, you like bashing people. I like to reason with them and
I like
come
fighting.
to
I like fighting.
a good conclusion that we can agree on and grow as individuals. See, I like doing that, and so I think it's. Yeah, but if you're not like that kind of person, I think it's okay that you're not. And I
think it's okay that you're not, but then I don't think it's okay for you to sit there and complain.
Well, I mean,
that things aren't the way you want them to
be.
If you're not actively doing something about it, if all you're doing is complaining, get the fuck out of the way.
Well, I think you complain all you want. I mean, it's.
Oh, I complain constantly, but I'm doing things. I'm not just complaining. There are people who are doing things, and basically, when you're a person who doesn't do things and you're complaining, all you're doing is pissing off the people who do things because there's a reason to be pissed, but you gotta do something about it.
I want to talk more into it, but I don't want to like out anybody because I know what you're talking about.
I was once told by a boss, a superior of mine, and I used it as well once I had people answering to me. If you're just bitching, you're just bitching. if you come with a solution,
Yes.
it's not bitching anymore.
Yes.
So come with a solution, come with a plan. It may not work, but if you have something to something productive to bring to the table, some sort of action, bring it. Otherwise, you're just bitching, and quit bitching, because nobody likes people who just bitch.
Well, from my understanding, this individual does do other things besides.
I don't know who the
just-
fuck y'all are talking about.
I want to say I'm not talking about one person in particular. I know who you think I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking about more than just I am talking about that person, but I'm talking about like 3 or 4 other
okay.
people.
This is a
as
person that
well.
we can't name.
Well, I don't want to. I don't think it's.
That's a no.
I don't think it's necessary. Because I want to talk in general. Because, like I said, I'm not talking about one person. I'm talking about many people in my life who do jack shit nothing, but who want to complain about the shit that doesn't get done or does get done or how it gets done. If you're not doing anything, just shut the fuck up.
No, I mean, if you are not doing anything, yeah, that makes. And the same thing with you. I know at work, whenever there's a problem, we should never just go to our boss and say, "Hey, this is broken."
Right.
So, you should go and like, here's the problem. Here's like 2 or 3 solutions I think might work. Which one do we want to go with?
Right.
Oh shit. Sorry, I'm reading the chat room.
Go ahead.
No,
Go ahead.
It's in the chat room. Go ahead and read it.
I don't have it.
Alcoholico, I love you. Okay, so the other thing is fucking children. I'm tired of fucking children. No, wait. No one is allowed to pull that audio.
You walked right into that one.
You won't even understand it. You can look at it.
You won't even understand. Yeah.
You won't get it because you don't have the context to understand. Okay. I'm tired of fucking children.
Someone pull that audio.
Again, no.
Stats.
Please do not pull that audio. I'm so sorry I phrased it that way. If you were an adult, and
On
by
the
an
6
adult,
o'clock
I
evening
mean
news,
if you're
local
over,
atheist says, I'm tired of fucking children.
and that's why I'm better than Catholics, because they never, ever get tired.
You've gotten your fill. Your cup runneth over.
Or maybe it's their cup. Their sweet brown chalice.
That is not okay. Okay. But people who are like playing stupid social games, people who are, and this person's going to be this. I
thought you meant like farming.
And I want other people to not go because this person, fuck you. Fuck you. Be an adult. Be an adult. Be in a community is going to be a group of people that you don't always agree with. There's going to be people that you don't like. I have had Owen Atkin in the fucking Corpus Christi atheist community for a long time. I hate that guy. I hate him. I was so happy he gave me a good reason to ban him today.
Somebody pull that audio too.
That guy's an ass. He's an MRA ass. And I'd let him in. I let him socialize. I didn't mess with him because I'm a fucking adult. Be an adult. Don't be a complainer. Be a doer. Be an adult. Okay. What did you have before I go to my weird thing?
I completely agree. Do something or shut the fuck up.
My thing was is more directed at Jay. I don't know why my stuff always directed at Jay.
Because
he's an interesting guy.
Jay's the interesting personality. Yeah, I'm going to tell you that.
Well, because on Facebook though, someone posted a link about all these sexual deviancies or whatever, and one of them was
That's definitely, you point that at Jay.
was eyeball licking or whatever, and someone was like, "That's like your thing." I was wondering what the story is behind this.
Yeah, about that.
Yeah, about that. No, it was kind of funny just because when you get comfortable with a person and like no seriously
When a man sees a woman's eyeball,
when you get comfortable with a significant other,
When a man is a woman's
eyeball.
you do goofy shit, like sometimes you get silly and do stupid shit that you don't do around other people,
Like licking eyeballs?
like licking their eyeballs. Like
Isn't that like you get like pink eye or something? Or
no, it was actually a continuous like war that I would try to lick this person's eyeball. And obviously they didn't want me to, but it was funny. It was like, stop that.
I bet it wasn't that funny.
Yeah. Well, after like the first week,
Okay.
I'm sure it was no longer funny to that person, and I
Yeah.
continued it for years.
That's what I was going for. Yes. That was not cool.
It was a challenge. Don't fucking issue a challenge and expect me to not take you up on it.
so that's all I was wondering about.
No, yeah, that's it wasn't like an actual fetish.
Okay, so it wasn't something you were actually sexually into.
No, there was no sexual aspect of it.
Okay, it was just you enjoyed torturing this person.
Pretty much. Similar to
Which
nose
is
licking.
similar to what he does to me every week.
It's like emotional sadomasochism.
However, there is a funny story that does involve kind of a sexual aspect, not an eyeball, but I was with a person who absolutely hated it when I licked her face, and it was quite funny because it was like a power exchange thing, and it was obviously consensual, but like holding her down and licking her face, it was just hysterical because I would do it in the middle of sex just to fuck with her, and it was great. It was awesome because she hated
I'm
it.
just gonna stop to
See,
lick
I
your
would be
face.
like the
doesn't
worst
sound great.
masochist because I figure it's like I'd always go for like the emotional masochism. So it's like I'm gonna type and just leave you there for hours and go like play a video game or something.
Hours, haven't done hours. I've done minutes. I was once hanging
How
a person
many
up.
minutes?
Actually, it was at a play party. So there was like a couple of other people having a scene at the same time.
You're using jargon.
Okay, sorry. It was at a BDSM play party.
Okay.
Wherein people play BDSM wise.
BD.
What?
No one knows Buck Rogers?
No, I'm not quite sure the reference.
Wow.
Anyway,
You just
we're
really
gonna
old,
ignore
so-
that. So it was at a play party.
Someone in the chat room tell me you know Dr. Theopolis and Tweaky. Come on.
We all forget that you're like 20 years old.
It's true.
not
Anyway,
that much older.
back to the fucking story that I was telling. Since you want to hear me talk about weird, fucked up shit that you guys think is fucked up, I had my sub tied up, and I was in the middle of a scene, but she kept being a bratty little bitch, and I don't deal with bratty well. So, and she knew that. She was doing it just to poke at me, to get me to do, because she was a brat, and that's kind of what brats do when in the BDSM world. So I just stopped scening. I didn't say anything, and I walked out of the room. And I left her there completely tied up, blindfolded. She might have been gagged at the same time. And I left her there for like 20 minutes.
Like you do.
Yeah. That's a thing that happens
So
sometimes.
I'd go like watch a movie, play WoW or something, and like, come back after the raid and be like,
No.
"Oh shit, I forgot all about you."
Do you need some water? Are you still breathing?
If I got on the computer, I mean, she would be there for like 12 hours minimum. So that's not cool, man. Although I guess if you're, oh wait, someone just wait. Oh man, Gilman's got my back. Sweet.
He's old too.
Is
I
he?
think.
I don't think he's
don't
that
know.
old. No, I think
don't
I'm still older.
I mean, I'm figuring if he gets the reference, then he's old.
Okay, so last thing I want to talk about. Well, this is the only thing I have. And
I have something to talk about.
Yay, you do it.
Kirk sucks.
Kirk?
Captain Kirk is the shit.
Oh,
he
fuck
sucks.
you.
Picard is awesome.
No. Well, okay. Picard is awesome. Captain Kirk is the best captain. Period.
You know why I say this, and this is 100% truth. He is such a shitty actor.
He is a
Shatner.
Shatner
I
is,
cannot see past the shitty acting and the character. I can't see past the fact that the actor is there. I see the actor when I see the character.
Was Star Trek ever really known for its, magnificent acting?
There was some. The Next Generation had some pretty fucking good acting. You ever
It-
seen
it did.
Data? Data is an amazing
original-
fucking actor.
The original series did not have great acting. It was good for the era. It doesn't hold up well. But the character is iconic in a way that Picard never will be, in a way that the Next Generation never will be. The Next Generation stands on the shoulders of the giant that is the original series of Star Trek, the original movies. Nothing will beat Wrath of Khan ever. Don't even try.
I haven't seen much of the original shit. I haven't seen the movies, and I don't really care.
You're crazy.
I didn't watch these things by choice. I was just subjected to them and started liking them. What was the one with Janeway? That was actually a pretty good series too.
Voyager, that was good.
Voyager was
that
a pretty good series.
Freaking Deep Space Nine was awesome. It was
Never saw that one.
amazing.
I know nothing about Star Trek.
See, I've heard that it would be a show
Avery
that I would
brought-
love.
brought-
'cause it's
Sorry,
all
I didn't
about
for a long time.
Societies.
You
and
would-
how
you would
interact
really
with them.
like-
I know I'd like it. I just, that's a shit ton of
Reb,
fucking
you should-
Star Trek to watch.
Reb, you should just watch Deep Space Nine because I think it would. I think that's the one that would really appeal to you. It's deep, and
Spacey,
yeah.
and it's 9.
Okay, I want to talk about women. I want to talk about women as distractions. Is that cool?
What?
Women as distractions.
Depends on
Yes.
what you mean.
Kind of MRA bullshit you
are
bring into our post show.
No. I am a little bit wary because it is like bordering on that a little bit. So I'm mainly talking about dress codes and things like that where, my daughter has a dress, a skirt that she can't wear because it's more than 4 finger lengths over her knee. And the reason is because it's distracting.
Well, I think there's merit to it to a certain degree because...
Wow, you just jumped right in there. I was gonna kind of tiptoe my way in, but you just dive right in, bro.
No, I think there is merit to it to a certain degree because typically, not only societally, but in our DNA, males are, I don't want to say predatory, but they're programmed to look for partners, and they're programmed to look for things that are attractive. There's a reason sex sells, and it starts at a younger age than we would all like to be comfortable with, but it is, and it's there.
I want to say, my son is 6. I was fully aware that he was a heterosexual when he was 2. It was very obvious going through Dillard's, through the...
I would... I don't even...
let me finish.
Okay.
Let me finish. Pushing the stroller through the lingerie section of Dillard's. Very, very intensely interested in the mannequins there.
Are you sure you didn't just like breastfeeding?
Yes. No. It surprised me because I think back, and maybe this is a good topic of conversation for all of us. I'm trying.
I was like, what is it?
Yeah, he's doing his bong.
It's my fucking.
It sounds like a bong.
It does not sound like a bong.
It does. But I'm trying. My earliest memory of being a heterosexual is kindergarten, and I remember seeing the first grade teacher and being like, "Oh my god."
I always had crushes on my babysitters and was like, I'm going to marry them when I get older.
Yes.
That kind of bullshit,
Yes. Earliest memories, I don't know that everyone's heterosexual, but earliest memories of having an attraction to someone else.
I don't think I have any. It was kind of drilled out of me as a child.
Really?
You don't look at
Was
boys.
it religious?
Yeah, it was totally religious.
That sucks.
Wow.
You don't look at boys. You can't even, you have to wear shorts in front of your own brothers and cousins, and you don't sleep in the same bed. You don't take baths together. Sex is the most disgusting thing ever, unless you're married.
Wow.
So that's how I was raised.
Interesting.
I was kind of raised not quite that intensely, but a little bit of the same way. I mean, sex was definitely demonized.
Yeah.
We were taught, one of my earliest memories was having a conversation with my mother about the virgin birth and why it was important that she was a virgin. So it was important in my household, but it wasn't demonized quite that badly.
Yeah. When I was little, it wasn't even something you thought about. So
I was fortunate. My mom was religious, but she also was realistic because I guess she probably had a whole bunch of sex when she was a teenager. So she's like, you should wait till you're married, but here's how condoms work. Here's how babies are born. Here's all the
She was
stuff.
realistic about it. Yeah.
So I was extremely fortunate in that case.
I think Leslie's like, your son's going to hate you when he's older. But he has good taste in women. I'm not going to lie.
Mannequins? You think that's good taste in women?
Yes, because he would scope them out, and I'd be like, "Yes, son, that is what I'm talking about."
That's an unrealistic version of a penis body.
Alcoholico in the chat room says he loved mannequins when he was young, and that dude knows what he's talking about. He knows the good mannequins.
As far as school uniforms, I don't have kids or anything, so I don't know how much my opinion counts. But I've always felt that school uniforms, I think, would be the best. Just as far because it's education. I know a lot of kids, even from the sexuality standpoint, but also from brand names or gang colors and all the rest of those things. I think just having everyone wearing the same thing, uniforms.
I think
you don't
that
have
sucks.
to worry about whether you're rich or you're poor or who has the best clothes or the not good clothes.
I disagree with you there. I think it sucks that our society is such that mentality comes about because I understand where you come from and there's some merit to it, to avoid some issues. I think it sucks that our society is in such a way that probably is best for certain things. But not only does it crush individuality, on that aspect and being able to build your persona, so to speak.
Well, you get to be an individual on the weekends, whenever you go home.
No, but,
when you're not
bigger,
at school.
but bigger than that, avoiding those issues with differences in demographic and income levels and things like that. It doesn't allow kids to build the same social structure and social skills that they have in the past when having to deal with those things. It puts them further back on the ladder, so to speak, of having to deal with those things until a later age.
I don't know. I don't know, because I think of school. I mean, yes, there's a social component to it, and you're going to get social skills out of it just from people being dickholes to everybody when you're kids. It seems like there's just one more level that you shouldn't have to worry about. That I don't want to go to school because I don't have the new Air Jordans or whatever the hell is popular. I guess they're LeBrons now or whatever.
Well, right. I gather what you're saying, but I think it's a good thing on whole. The kids have to deal with that because they're going to have to deal with that eventually anyway. And the earlier they start having to deal with that, the earlier they start learning mechanisms for combating that and for coping with different issues, whatever it may be, the stronger they're going to be as adults, as opposed to, if they start learning that when they're 6 versus if they start learning that when they're 16.
I'd rather be learning like science and
kids are sponges, man. They're going to learn that stuff too. Granted that they don't have to deal with, being kicked out of school because their peers are being dickholes.
Yeah. So let me dial it back to what I was talking about when I started this conversation, which is, when they're talking about dress codes for girls, because they don't do this to boys. It's because they are distractions. Mm-hmm. Now, I wanna go on record as admitting I find women distracting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I absolutely. I was having a conversation with a dude today about cars because I saw a dude with. Me and my boss stopped it again.
At your job where you work on cars, you had conversations about cars.
Well, me and my boss left the shop.
My God.
We left the shop and stopped at a gas station because we saw a car. There's a small community around these specific type of cars, and I was sitting there bullshitting with the guy about the car, and a girl gets out of a truck and walks in, and I kept catching myself looking at her because it was a distraction. Yeah. I mean, we're sexual fucking beings, and whether that be good, bad, or whatever, it happens.
I don't know. When I was younger, I used to be very distracted by the opposite sex, but now I'm not.
Really?
Not really. It doesn't affect me anymore.
It's not something I can't control, but
it's been pretty even for me since very young. And I expect that will not change. So this is what I'm saying. Like for me,
you're going to be a dirty old man. Is that what you're telling me?
No, I am a dirty old man. No, but
you're not old enough yet to quite acquire.
He is like 20 years older than us.
Okay, so but what I'm saying is that for me, it's a distraction. I mean, it totally is. It's not a distraction where it's like, oh my God, I can't do my job. I can't go to school. I can't blah blah blah. That's bullshit. But are there people for which that's not true?
I don't know. Like whenever I guess the biggest distraction is like, you get like a boner at work or something like, oh no, this sucks or whatever. And like that generally doesn't like happen anymore. Like when I was a kid and I kind of control myself. Yeah, sure. But like that'd be the only distractions that what would be so distracting that it would affect you in any way?
Well, for me, it's not.
I'm not telling that story.
I mean,
well, I'm just saying that for me, it never has been. It's never been one of those things where oh my God, I can't listen to trigonometry because Becky is so hot.
I can't listen to trigonometry because it's fucking boring.
Because it's trigonometry.
Yeah.
But let's pretend for a minute that there are men who cannot function if there are women with skirts on that are more than 4 fingers.
It sounds like they got a hard life ahead of them.
Right.
Pun intended.
But I mean, what is that a rational reaction? I mean,
you teach discipline. You teach self-control.
And part of that would be.
But how do you do that?
Right?
How do you do that?
How do you do what?
How do you teach self-control? I mean, right now the answer is we just try and make women cover themselves, which is a stupid fucking answer.
And you might get pissed at me for saying this.
Okay, I'm going to be pissed at you anyway.
But there's merit in it Because
In what?
If you look at societies in general, and you look at American society and our general lack of discipline and self-control as compared to Japanese societies, it is a thing that can be taught, and it comes from family and social.
Whoa. Let me, because I know what you're talking about, and that's a stereotype that has some truth to it, but at the same time, women who go on, let's say, subways, for example, in Japan, are felt up.
Absolutely.
Worse than
absolutely.
anything that you'll experience here in the United States.
Absolutely. But in
also
traditional...
like super sexually repressed in Japan as well.
Yeah.
They are. They absolutely are.
In fact, one of the weird things about Japan is how many people are not sexual at all. Like they're not interested in having sex. It's off the charts. Someone in the chat room, Google it. It's off the charts in terms of percentage of Japanese people who are not interested in having sex with another person at all.
And I would venture to say, and this could be completely false.
It probably is because it's coming out of your mouth. Go.
I would venture to say that a lot of that is influenced by the traditional Japanese principles that instill that discipline and self-control and focus on things like, whatever they focus on, the studies of blank. I mean, if they're taught from such an early age and it's indoctrinated and instilled in them to focus on this and be good at this and be really good at this and do this, focus. I can see where that can
grab her ass.
I can
on the subway.
see where that could lead to a lot of people having a lack of interest in sex because it's an indoctrination. If you look at religious people, Christian religious groups that instill in their children, these obviously stupid religious ideals, it sticks with them for life.
Well, I mean, if the self-control thing obviously isn't working since women are getting groped left and right on
I'm
trains,
not saying that all of them are.
Well,
I'm not saying that
but
all
it
of them have that
happens
self-control.
often enough,
No,
though.
I'm not
It
saying
does.
that all that the entirety of the Japanese culture is like that. But
but it happens a lot though.
no, absolutely no. I'm saying no.
It's a norm.
You guys are mishearing me, or I'm miscommunicating. I'm not saying that discipline factor is universal, but I'm saying that in traditional Japanese, if you go back a decade or two, it was more prevalent then.
Well, even still, from what I understand, it's somewhat a sexually repressed culture in general, just all over.
I'm not sure repression is the right word you're looking for.
Well, they don't talk about it. It's very, you don't.
Although-
no exposure, no nothing.
They buy used panties out of vending machines.
When
and
they're
shit.
adults, but when they're children,
Okay.
Does
maybe
anyone
I'm
know what
misunderstanding.
Japanese porn? Oh, okay, never mind.
I think
that was a
He meant Japanese.
I think that was a
I was
typo.
like, there's something I don't know about porn, and I need to know.
Well, it just seems it's like if not exposing children to sexual attitudes causes them to grope women a whole bunch when they get older. Seems like, well, maybe we ought to be encouraging our young children.
And I'm not saying that we should do
dress
that.
with
I was
really
just using
short
that.
skirts
I'm just using that as an example to the fact that self-control can be taught and discipline can be taught.
Can I ask you an intensely personal question, Courtney? And don't even answer that question. I'm going to ask you an intensely personal question, and you can say, Christian, go fuck yourself, and we'll talk about something else. I was just sitting here thinking while they were babbling about whatever they were talking about. You talked about being raised in a very repressed sexual environment. How does that impact? Because you're a mom, you have a young daughter. How does that impact how you parent? I mean, does it? I mean, what is your? Can I ask what your philosophy about that sort of thing is? As a person who's maybe come a little, I assume you've come a little bit out of that sphere.
Yeah. Well, funny thing, I've spent most of my early 20s teaching myself how to socialize and how to be just a normal person. I was very sheltered as a child. My mom wouldn't let me go anywhere, couldn't do anything. And then I guess I got into high school and she tried to make me do things. And I was like, I don't
know how.
I don't want to go out. I don't want to do anything. So I guess most of my 20s have been spent trying to learn what normal people already know. I think a lot of my upbringing had to do with the fact that my grandfather was abusive, probably more abusive than my mom and her sisters would care to admit. And so I think a lot of that was, abuse victims being way too overprotective. And that's just that's how we were raised. Just stay inside and keep your legs closed. That's
Aspirin between your knees.
yeah. There you go.
So how do you approach raising a daughter after having been raised like that?
It's really hard.
Yeah, it would be.
I do a lot of research, I guess.
That's the best way to do it, I guess.
Yeah.
From an atheist perspective.
How do normal people raise children?
www.normalparents.com.
I just try to be really, really open with her. And
That's going to lead you to a pot
Yeah,
website.
don't do that.
actually,
go to that.
recently we're kind of in this big thing with my mom about my daughter being around, my significant other. And yeah, it was a big thing. She called us out in front of everyone. Wow. And we were just like,
I bet that was uncomfortable for everyone involved.
Yeah. It was very uncomfortable. And I didn't talk to my mom for about a week. Like, we just started talking again. This week, actually. And she was talking to my sisters, and she was telling them about this situation. I guess she expected them to agree with her, and they both looked at her like, "Mom, you're fucking wrong. You're wrong on this one. You're
Nice.
wrong." And she just kind of... My mom doesn't apologize, ever. She just called me and was like, "Hey, what are you doing?" I'm just like, I'm doing stuff. I'm busy. But so it took a while, but
Yeah.
Interesting.
I'm still kind of fighting with my mom on it, though.
Yeah, that never ends. I don't know. I don't know. I kind of grew up in a similar situation. Like, to me, like, especially when I was first coming up, like, sex seemed to be like something you did to someone, and it's something you did with someone. And so it was kind of, at least early when I was young, it was not entirely a positive thing. And some of that was religious, some of that was other stuff, but that's really tough to... Don't look at me like that, man.
I just came up with an interesting
All right,
question to ask everyone. It's very personal.
All right.
Okay,
It's post-show. It's all for personal.
Okay, so maybe we've discussed this on this show. Maybe that's where I'm remembering it from. Maybe
Worst
not.
case scenario we have.
All right, so I'll start with you, Christian.
Okay.
At what age around what age did you start becoming sexually active?
With
Other people or with yourself?
Right.
No, with other people, like actually having interpersonal relationships of a sexual manner, whether it be actual penetration or not.
Around 16.
Okay, and would you
Because
say
I had a car and I could...
and would you say that on a mainstream basis of normalcy, do you have normal or more deviant sexual tendencies?
I have probably more normal
Okay, Reb?
sexual tendencies.
Same questions.
I mean, define normal, but yeah.
I mean, like I said, is in the mainstream normal versus.
I'm not into anything you're into, Jay.
Damn, he saw right through my question.
I like people, and I'm turned on by people.
Okay.
16. I don't know. I think I'm pretty normal. I guess.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't really define sex and like deviancy and normalcy. It's you like what you like and you don't like what you
Right.
like.
I totally agree with you.
Can you explain the person you have chained up in your bedroom? What's up with that, Red?
Yeah, the gimp suit, man. That's not normal.
It's like, oh, I should try that. I'll try. I'll try most things that don't involve like bodily nasty things, whatever. But as long as it doesn't smell bad, I'm usually good with it.
I kind of like the way that stuff smells. But Alcoholica wants
Wait,
to know...
what? Shit? You like the way shit smells?
No. Maybe I came in the wrong part of that.
You like the way that stuff smells?
No. I thought we were talking about sex. But okay. Alcoholico in the chat room wants to know if dry humping counts. Does that count as...
Sure, yeah. That's
Okay, that counts.
sexual.
Well,
That's
I-
interpersonal sexual activity.
What age Alcoholico? So we've got 15 from PD Baby, 18 or 19 from...
18, almost 19.
18, almost 19 from...
That's the
Ghetto.
person I want to ask then. That's the person that I want to know.
I'm 18 going
Do they have do they have what they would consider more normal mainstream sexual activities and sexual tendencies, or more deviant, taboo sexual tendencies?
Student Ghetto, are you a perv? That's what Jay wants. That's what Jay wants to know.
If I had to define my sexual attitudes, I am not really into anything that has to do with anal stuff in general.
Okay, well, I'm talking about broad scope things. I'm not talking about any one specific thing. I'm talking about broad scope things. The general taboos. I mean,
Like
just
feet,
Goats. Goats.
anything that would be other than what the mainstream in a United States,
non-missionary.
like normal sex with your significant other. Being missionary. Different positions are fine or whatever. I'm talking about bringing other things, BDSM.
I'm not
fetishes
into
and things like that.
Not really into pain.
Okay, so I'm not trying to get into the specifics of anyone's. The reason I ask is because I'm familiar somewhat with a study that indicates that the later you start your sexual building, I guess, your sexual life, the more you have a tendency to have sexual deviation, in that you tend to have more exploratory tendencies into things that aren't considered mainstream normal. Fetishes, just all that quote unquote weird shit.
I don't know.
I was just curious.
My whole mentality on sex is that it's called something a fetish to make it seem bad or wrong.
Yeah,
I hate
not.
doing that.
No, I
I don't
totally
want to
agree.
say like
100%
fetishes are wrong. I mean,
They're not.
So right.
No fetish is wrong.
But the
there
word
are
just has
there
like a
are
negative
weird things that I
connotation to it.
like. There are weird things that I like. I mean, like even like physically, and I don't even know if I can explain it. But there are things that like appeal to me that are weird.
Outside of the norm.
Well, I don't even know if they're norm, but they're like very specific things that I zero.
Like you
in
like that one kind of nose shapes just like that?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
Exactly. That's
gotcha.
what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Like stuff like that. And I think that's normal. Your little guinea pig in the chat room wants to know if you can define perv.
And define normal.
Yeah, it's a tough thing to do because I haven't really thought about it beforehand. I could probably do it if given enough time to flesh out the thought. But normal being not.
I don't know. It's like I don't even know what I would consider like socially normal because most of the people that I've had sex with go outside the bounds.
My version of
socially
normal
is
not the
Fucked
version
up.
of normal that probably any of you have, and your versions of normal are not going to be the same as the dude next door. Everybody's going to have a different version of what's normal to them, but I'm just talking about what's generally considered tame, regular.
I would say my sexual proclivities probably extend a little bit further than the social norm, I guess.
None of you were just like, yeah, I'm into weird shit. Like, okay, I'm into weird shit. Okay, guys,
I don't know.
That's no secret to anyone.
Is weird though.
Most people would consider some of the shit I'm into weird, and I mean,
Well, see, I don't consider BDSM weird. Like, I'm not into it, but I don't really think it's weird either.
okay, yeah, a lot of
So,
people
I mean,
do. A lot of people look at it and go, oh, "That's fucking strange, dude. You're weird." Whatever. All right, that conversation went nowhere. I'm not even going to go into talking about it anymore.
I just think it's such a nebulous issue. I mean, because Student Ghetto in the chat room was saying if you mean straight up missionary, then yes, I go beyond that. But what the fuck does...
the definition is obviously not good, and I can't.
It's hard to
hard to
determine
define,
because people are different.
Yeah.
The things that I like are going to be different from anybody else.
Sure, absolutely. I totally agree.
I'm going to like disgusting things.
I make it a point not to judge anyone on their sexual
No,
tendencies,
it's like
their
even if
sexual
there was someone who was
proclivities.
like into scat play, like I'm not into it, but I don't know if I'd say like that's wrong or
I don't
weird
think that
or
this-
bad.
You
If
can't
it's
help
consensual-
you can't help that you like what you like.
Yeah.
And there are people who like things that aren't consensual. If they don't act on them, then I don't necessarily have a problem with it because you can't help what you like.
So I don't have a problem with someone role playing something like that.
Right.
And actually, there are studies that show that that's pretty common. That,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
For both sexes.
You like what you like, and
And
there's no
that's-
reason to judge you for it unless you act upon something that is non-consensual and just fucked up.
Yes.
So I'm not trying to judge anybody.
So has anyone put a penguin in their pants before? Because
aside from you, no.
they wiggle like a motherfucker. It's awesome. I don't think they'd like it, but like,
That's
I think we should probably shut this whole show down.
that's a good call.
On that note, we're
I love all of
Wiggling
you people.
penguins,
Like
non-consensual.
our chat room is awesome. They are so awesome and open to. Tech Leslie in the chat room says pussy is awesome. I agree with that.
Sounds like a non-controversial statement right there.
Yep. You're not gonna find a whole
Role
lot of
playing
people-
is awesome. Oh, and PDBB also adds that it's tasty. So
Can be.
I agree
Can
with
be.
that. Can be. I gotta say, I've never had a bad experience. Have you?
Yeah,
who's had
we
it?
referred to as Morgan Jane Rottengrotch.
How about you, Red? Bad experience?
Oh yeah, I've had that experience.
Really? I've never ever. I don't want to
what
not
are we
ask.
talking about?
We're talking about the taste of vagina.
I thought you just
Yeah.
said bad experiences in general.
No.
No. If there's like it has like a bad smell or something, I just won't go there with my face.
I just don't put my face there.
My face will stay up here.
I mean, if we're already to the point where like we're there, it's just like, nah, let's stay up here. You know what I mean?
That's exactly what happened with my first experience, and I wound up sticking a knife in her vagina.
Whoa! What? A knife?
So does she have 30 to 40%?
No blood was drawn. No blood was drawn.
So, Alcoholico says pussy is like pizza, and I don't know what that means. Does anyone know what that means? Even when it's bad, it's good. Okay, I get it.
Disagree.
I have never
wholeheartedly.
had a bad experience.
No, as long as I get off, it's been a good experience. There have been experiences
I'm just saying,
where
like,
I have not,
in
and
terms-
those have been bad experiences.
Courtney's
for me.
unplugging. She's like,
It's
fuck,
like fuck
like,
this
eh.
conversation.
fuck all of you. I have
Talking
never.
about vaginas. I don't know.
I don't get off
Nothing
most
I
of the
can
time,
contribute
so
to
I have to
this.
find other ways to enjoy it.
Oh, no, I get off just.
Seriously?
Seriously, yeah.
That's unusual.
Yeah, I don't get off most of the time with sexual activity.
Why? Is
'Cause
it
I
a
literally have-
choice?
No,
Or-
no. I literally
Says
have
30 to
less
40%
sensation.
I-
Literally, it's much more difficult for me to reach climax than most
I
people.
don't doubt that, having watched and rewatched the video of you getting nailed in the nuts. Like, dude, like you took that like a champ. Like I would be on the floor for days.
Like seriously, you could do it right now, and I would have the same reaction. It's not like it's just not as painful for me as it is for other people.
That's really weird. Because like seriously, what Amanda did to you last week would put me on the floor and I wouldn't get up for at least an hour.
Most people.
Tech Lefty says also bad sex is also when you cry because from disappointment and everything.
I'm trying.
I've never had. I gotta say, I've never met a vagina that I didn't like. I just haven't.
I have.
And
Mostly, it's
I
what's
guess I'm
attached to the
lucky.
vagina. But
Fair enough. Okay, let's end it on that note.
later, guys.
Love you guys for staying with us. Thank you for indulging my raginess tonight. We'll see you next week.